Welcome back, y'all, and today we're getting to know the Pacman frog. Now, Pacman frog is actually just a nickname for several species of horned frogs. With their extremely wide mouths and huge appetite, it's no surprise this nickname caught on. Now, these frogs can get quite large, with some getting as big as 8 inches in size. And they have a lifespan of up to 10 years, so you will get to enjoy your frog's company for quite some time. Now, Pacman frogs are considered to be a more observational pet, as frogs in general should not be regularly handled without gloves. Their skin is sensitive and can absorb the oils and chemical residues left behind from things like soap and hand sanitizer from our hands. Over time, this can build up and it could cause problems for your frog. Now, when it comes to tank setup, Pacman frogs are a sit and wait type of predator, so they don't really need a whole lot of space to be jumping around and moving around in the tank. Adult Pacman frogs are typically kept in about a 10-gallon tank, while younger juveniles are often kept in 5-gallon tanks so they can more easily find their food. You will also want to keep a hygrometer and thermometer in the tank to make sure you're meeting these frogs' temperature and humidity needs. The ideal daytime temperature for the Pacman frog is between 75 and 85 degrees, while nighttime temperatures are a little cooler at 65 to 75 degrees. If you find that your tank regularly goes below 75 during the day or 65 at night, you may need to include a heater. Because Pacman frogs are kept in shallow tanks and many have a sensitivity to light, heat lamps are not really recommended. Under the tank mats are commonly used for heating purposes, many times placed on the side of the tank or with a towel in between the mat and the tank to prevent the frog from burning its abdomen when burrowing into the substrate. For more information about Pacman frog tank heating, I have a video that I will put a link in the description below. The ideal range for humidity for Pacmans is between 40 to 80%. When the humidity starts to drop below 40%, you will want to then remist the tank and substrate. You really don't want the humidity levels to go above 80% or to stay too high for too long of a period of time, as this can start to grow mold in the tank. Now, there is a bit of a debate as to whether or not these frogs need UVB. As they are nocturnal, most people will say that they do not need one. If you do, however, decide to get a UVB, you'll want to get a very low wattage bulb. These frogs tend to have very sensitive skin, especially if you have an albino, so their skin can be very easily damaged. For substrate in your tank, coconut fiber tends to be the most popular option. Coconut fiber holds a lot of moisture in and can really help keep those humidity levels where they need to be. It also provides a nice substrate that the frogs can burrow into. For tank decor, keep in mind that Pacman frogs do tend to bulldoze over things, so if you wish to keep live plants, it's best to plant them on the far sides or back of the tank to prevent them from being trampled. I also recommend avoiding moss unless it's live planted moss, as the frogs may ingest it and could cause impaction. Live moss does not pose the same issue, as they're unlikely to accidentally ingest it. And while these frogs do absorb moisture through their skin, it is still recommended to keep a shallow water dish in their tank. Pacman frogs do really enjoy a nice good soak in their water bowl, but you want to keep in mind that these frogs are not at all strong swimmers, so the dish does need to be shallow enough that the frog can easily jump in and out of it. When you're misting the tank and filling their water dish, you will want to make sure that you use dechlorinated water. And if you have to use an actual dechlorinator for this, you'll want to choose one that does not contain any additives. Many dechlorinators used for fish keeping often have additives to help with things like slime coat that could be harmful for the frog if used for long periods of time. You'll also want to make sure that you change their water out daily, as Pacman frogs are prone to getting bacterial infections from soaking in dirty water. Now, when it comes to diet, Pacman frogs will eat pretty much anything that fits in their mouth, including other Pacman frogs. So their diet can consist of a variety of different things. Dubia roaches, night crawlers, and crickets tend to be a major staple, but they also enjoy the occasional pinky and other insect. If you do decide to feed them things like pinkies or feeder lizards, it's best to feed them only once a month, because they are not exactly as nutritious for the frog, and they also, since they have bones, can be harder on the digestive system. Now, as these frogs typically do not have UVB lights, you will want to add a calcium vitamin D3 supplement to their diet. Lightly dusting their crickets or roaches with the calcium vitamin D3 supplement powder when feeding will help prevent issues such as metabolic bone disease. For more information about feeding, I will have a link to my Pacman Frog diet video in the description box below. Now, when it comes to finding out whether or not your frog is actually male or female, this can be really difficult to tell until the frogs reach maturity, as males typically have darker colored chests while females' chests tend to stay mostly white. Male Pacman frogs do also croak more frequently than females do, but unfortunately, that's not always a guarantee. The best way to tell if a frog is male is on their front feet they will have bumps known as nuptial pads. Male Pacmans also tend to be smaller than females, only getting to be around 3 to 4 inches in size, while females are much larger, ranging from 5 to 7 inches, with some females even getting larger than that. So anyway guys, that's all I really have for y'all today. As always, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video.